Mikey McCoy's wife just dropped some messages that could flip the whole Charlie Kirk story upside down. And the moment those leaks hit the internet, people started saying that Erica Kirk is now scrambling to run away before more comes out.
The person the planes were actually tracking for years was Erica. Not Charlie, but Erica was the one being tracked by these planes. Between 2022 and September of 2025, both of those aircrafts, SU-BTT, the yellow plane, and SU-BND, the blue plane, showed 68 overlaps with Erica's documented locations, okay? 68 overlaps. I have since been able to add now 73 times that this overlapped, okay?
What got everyone's attention was the footage. Something about Mikey just didn't look normal. His own wife seems tired of hiding things and looks ready to let it all out. But Erica, she definitely doesn't want that. And what she's supposedly doing to stop these leaks is exactly what has people talking. If you clicked here looking for answers, let me walk you through everything. You're going to hear about the weird video clips, the timing that makes zero sense, a strange family trip that happened right before Charlie was shot, and even Erica Kirk's connections to Egyptian planes and Israel. And by the end of this, you'll understand why some people online think this whole thing could have been planned from the inside. So, let's start with Mikey. He was Charlie Kirk's young chief of staff, only 23, and he was standing right next to Charlie when everything went down. I'm not going to explain what happened to Charlie because most people already know. What matters is Mikey's reaction in that moment. There's a video that blew up online. Instead of ducking, helping, or even reacting like everyone else, Mikey quietly pulls out his phone and puts it to his ear. No dialing, no buttons, just lifts it instantly like he was expecting a call or already making one.
But in this particular video, he's not standing where you can get a view of Charlie asking a question. So this part is not tracking. Okay, Mikey is not standing to the side of Charlie, he is behind. And so if you're saying what earlier, we're supposed to see him, the best place to stand if you're going to get a video of Charlie asking a question is going to be in a place where you can see both Charlie and the person asking the question. And that's just not where he's standing. So that excuse doesn't make sense to me. Now, maybe he's saying Mikey was there when he was throwing hats out and he was there trying to send videos thereafter once things got started. That's all possible. I don't know. Regarding him putting his hands up to his ear, it does sound completely plausible to me that if you first hear a gunshot, you're going to naturally do this, right? That kind of makes sense. You're going to go, what was that maybe? And then I think typically you'd get down. And the issue that I have is I never see him take that phone down. Maybe he does, right? Maybe he does. We don't know for a fact. And so we should be clear that it doesn't look to me like he's just covering his ears there, but maybe he is. What I will say is that it would be unlikely that you would keep holding your ears until you get all the way out and that you wouldn't duck down.
Then Erica added fuel to the fire. On national TV, she said that when Charlie was shot, she didn't hear her phone because it was on silent. But when she picked it up, Mikey was calling her. And she said he called her seconds after the shooting.
And that's when Mikey started calling me. He called me within seconds.
I called Erica. I just remember it rang like 3 or 4 times. I didn't know what to say. Those are the words that will change someone's life forever, and you have to be the one to say it. That was the first time I've ever called her during a campus tour stop.
And so Mikey called me, and I'll never forget him just being like, Charlie's been shot. He's been shot, get the kids. Get security, get the kids, he's been shot. I sprinted out of her treatment center. I just collapsed in the middle of the parking lot. Called our security. Yeah. Unbelievable nightmare.
So according to Erica, Mikey called her within seconds. If you might remember, that Mikey McCoy has been under a lot of fire for how he reacted less than 1 second after Charlie was shot. He put his phone or his hands to his ears, looks like his phone, and began walking away. People were highly suspicious of this, and we were told by Turning Point USA, executive producer of The Charlie Kirk Show, Andrew Colvette, that Mikey did not make a phone call here. He, in fact, put his hands up over his ears because the shot was very loud. Remember this.
Last thing, because this is part of the video allegations here, is that they think they're alleging that he was on the phone immediately. He was not. He was taking social videos, which he would send to our group chat, which we would then put on Charlie's social while the event was happening, so you could see like the crowd come in or his interactions. And we were only 2 questions into this event, so he was still getting it out to all the chats he needed to do, which he did at every event. He turns around, and it was so blaringly loud, I'm told. You would know this better than I, but this is what I'm told. It was so blaringly loud, and he was so shell-shocked, he put his fingers in his ear, but his phone was still in his hand. He walks away.
Blake Neff, who's also on this Charlie Kirk show from Turning Point USA, who was right next to Mikey McCoy when the shot rang out, also explained that Mikey McCoy and him separated. It was not until they reconvened after the fact, when he encountered Mikey with his lip quivering, that the phone call was then made to Erica and then to his father, Rob McCoy. Candace Owens came out straight up yesterday and said that this was an inside job. People are suspicious because of inconsistencies and lies like this.
So, who's lying? Because both stories can't be true. And the easy fix, Mikey could show his call logs. It would take 5 minutes, but he hasn't released a single thing. Not one timestamp. Nothing. And that silence only makes the whole situation feel even stranger.
I don't like the silence from Turning Point employees. I know for a fact one of them, who I'm not going to name, has a text message from Charlie the day before he died saying they are going to kill me.
Wow.
Now, he was not referring to the lobby when he wrote that message.
Yeah.
If you are his friend and you're interested in the truth, why wouldn't you tell the public that? Wouldn't you just come right out to the public and say, hey, I don't know what happened, but like Charlie thought they were going to kill him. I do not like the way Turning Point is behaving. I've made that clear. And nobody is going to emotionally manipulate me and tell me that it's all good now. And to attack Turning Point would be to attack his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie told me years ago that he had, which I shared the messages. He was having a ton of visions and was telling me that Turning Point was going to be the death of him. He knew he was going to die young, and strangely knew that I was going to be the only person to defend him. Right. I showed the messages.
Yeah.
I showed the messages.
They tried to say it was fake and you pulled it up and yeah.
We're here now. And I'm going to defend him. I'm going to figure out what happened.
But there's something else that made people look even closer. Candace Owens pointed out that just a few weeks before Charlie died, the McCoys went on their first ever family trip with Charlie and Erica. Mikey's wife even posted about it, saying it was their very first vacation together. While on that trip, the McCoys filmed sweet private moments of the Kirk family, the same clips that later went viral after Charlie died, including the one where Erica takes Charlie's hand while walking with their kids. But why were they filming the Kirk family so much? Most family trips don't work like that. Usually someone from the family holds the camera, not another couple hiding behind the scenes like documentary makers. And then it gets even weirder. Just 4 days before Charlie died, Mikey suddenly decided to film Charlie again during a trip to Korea. He said it was the first time he ever filmed him like that. The timing felt strange to a lot of people.
Yeah, so originally we were supposed to go to the DMZ portion where Trump shook Kim Jong-un's hand. And I'm going to put him on blast, but the United Nations canceled Charlie. Didn't allow us to go.
Wow.
So we were scheduled to go. So we had to go to that lookout point, which was really exciting still. So glad we got that.
Yeah, you got to see it.
Something else that's really interesting is when we were at that Build Up Korea event, Charlie was meeting with all these pastors backstage. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And there's Pastor Son, S-O-N. And Charlie was talking to him. He was talking about politics from the pulpit, which you can't do during an election season in Korea, but he was doing it anyways. And Charlie's like, let me take a picture with you. So he took the picture. And we left Korea. 2 days after we left Korea, the pastor was arrested and is in jail right now for
no way.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Because
yes,
you can't. It's there. Yeah, we have the picture up there. That was 2 days after they arrested that pastor. He's in jail right now for talking about politics from the pulpit.
But while Eliza McCoy seemingly disappeared, Turning Point USA did the exact opposite. They went into overdrive. Everywhere you looked, podcasts, interviews, speeches, it was all about Mikey McCoy.
I think Mikey was promised or told or encouraged that he would become the new Charlie, and it is a fact that was the #1 sentiment that we received from our Turning Point USA insiders following Charlie's assassination, that the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Mikey McCoy appeared to have like an extra spring in his step that made them all a little bit uncomfortable in the aftermath, and that he seemed all too happy to assume Charlie's position. Look, he's already speaking at Liberty University. Why? Because he made some phone calls Have we lowered the standards for what makes somebody a hero in 2025?
Every post, every clip, every press release painted him as some kind of young legend. It didn't feel like grief. It felt like they were trying to bury a fire under a mountain of praise before things got worse. And then Turning Point exposed themselves. In one video, you see someone comforting Mikey, telling him to ignore conspiracy theories and that the team had handled everything. And he shouldn't worry.
Erica Kirk, where has she been? She's been out of the spotlight almost completely. No interviews, no real public presence, nothing. And at this point, people are wondering why. Is it the attention? Is it pressure? Or is something else going on behind the scenes? Now, let's talk about this moment right here between Mikey McCoy and someone named Bernadette. Because when I heard that clip, my thought was the same as a lot of you. Who exactly is Bernadette? And why does she sound like she's speaking for the team?
I don't want you to feel hurt by all these horrible things. We know that you have a responsibility. You're a young man. And I just want you to take a deep breath, like I said. And you know what? Let them spin their conspiracy theories. You're a good kid. You had instructions to call Erica. Charlie had a team that jumped right in there. I know that team. And we just got to move on. We got to push them moving on. And let's get to these midterms.
Yeah.
Bernadette, who are you? And Mikey, let's slow this down for a second. You had instructions to call Erica Kirk right away. And based on the footage that we've all seen over and over and over again, that's exactly what you did. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Now here's the part I really want people to pay attention to.
That's right. Thank you, Bernadette. It's crazy. It's just, I
Lost for words there, huh, Mikey? That little stutter, that pause, that moment where the sentence never really finishes. That's the kind of thing that makes people stop and replay the clip. Not because it proves anything, but because it raises more questions. So now we're left with this. Erica Kirk is out of sight. Bernadette is telling Mikey to ignore conspiracy theories and just move on. Mikey confirms he had instructions to call Erica and then freezes up right after thanking her.
Now, the thing is, when people are wrongly accused of something serious, they don't sit quietly. They speak up. They show proof. They take legal action. But TPC hasn't done any of that. No lawsuit to stop rumors, no demand for corrections, just planned silence. And nonstop, Mikey is amazing content. Candace Owens firmly believes Turning Point had something to do with his death. And here she is exposing everything and calling them out.
We challenged Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen? It's a yes or a no. Explicitly, I want to hear from Turning Point USA that I'm lying about that. I want you to say, no, it was just, he was feeling a little bit of pressure. No, I want you to literally answer what I have just said. It either happened or it didn't. I'm either making it all up or it happened exactly as I'm saying. And while we're at it, may I ask, what is the name of the Jewish donor who sponsored the Hamptons weekend? Okay. And to Pastor Rob McCoy, were there any LLCs that you or your son were being paid through that sat outside of Turning Point? I'm asking that question genuinely. Yeah, I'm putting the fire here right at the feet of Turning Point because I am disgusted. I am genuinely disgusted. I am looking around and wondering whether Charlie's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving, okay? There is no way you are letting these lies fly unless, as I am hearing, unless it is true that there was a big payday that was on the line. And if Charlie radically stated that he was done with Israel, if Charlie said he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of, and I quote, Jewish donors, the behavior of Jewish donors, if he said that, yes or no, well then, I don't know, maybe some people didn't want to take that risk that he was going to become Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA with so much presence across college campuses. Maybe they didn't want to take the chance. You see, I'm just one person, so it's easy to just try to cancel my life and lie on me every second of every day. But Turning Point USA, I think, got a little bit bigger than Charlie, and I'm no longer going to allow this lie in this narrative. So answer the questions, yes or no. And I'm going to, again, challenge you to lie. And if you do lie, I'm going to expose the lies, and I'm going to start dropping videos, actually. So that's where I'm at. Enough of the games, enough with trying to allow Israel to wrangle a narrative that you know is not true.
That pattern of theirs, deny, distract, disappear, is exactly what people notice when something is being covered up.
I view the Charlie Kirk assassination as a military hit. I do not know who called the hit yet, but it's military. There's no question in my mind that it was a military.
Or foreign, or?
Well, I don't view the U.S. military as being controlled by the U.S. I mean, there are a lot of people, we've been globalized for a very long time. I don't know that there's decisions that are made in Ukraine for America. I mean, this is the tentacles of the U.S. military. It's a much broader and longer conversation that needs to be had. I mean, I think since JFK was assassinated, I don't know who's in control of anything, right? Much of what we see in the political realm is just an illusion. We're talking about what's happening in Congress, and decisions are made in boardrooms, in my view. With Charlie, I think that with everything that I have uncovered, there was very clearly a faith infiltration that happened. And I'm putting faith in quotation marks because Charlie would have believed the people that came to him and told him to grow the organization and, to become the boots on the ground for faith. He cared very deeply about his faith. And the characters, the cast of characters and the pastors that are around him, rotten, like very rotten. The McCoys, Rob McCoy, unbelievably rotten, and I've been covering a lot with him.
And then there's Erika online. People say she's trying hard to stop Mikey's wife from saying anything else. It's like the one person who stepped out of the script must now be completely shut down. What really made things feel strange is something Candace Owens pointed out. Every time someone at Tapuza mentions Mikey McCoy, they use an adjective every single time. The amazing Mikey McCoy, the heroic Mikey McCoy, the brilliant Mikey McCoy. Why?
It is obvious to me that Mikey McCoy was the person that they wanted to launch as the new Charlie. That's very obvious. The way they brought his YouTube channel back with a speech from Mikey, and everyone was kind of trying to soft sell Mikey to us and was like, who's this kid? You're 23. Why are you the chief of staff of anything? Who are you actually? And you're brought in by Rob, your dad, who is dirty. I mean, very dirty guy. I covered more of that yesterday. He just gives me the sleaze and the ick. And it just is very strange. I felt like they tried to manipulate us into accepting this, almost like they had, like, Mikey's going to be this person. Then we see Mikey, he's a hero, and he just walks away right after somebody, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And yeah, with Erika, a lot of people on the internet have been going into her past, going into her parents' past, and, just speaking about these things.
Israel defense contractors, parents, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen all of that. I responded to that on my show. And what I've said to everybody is I'm starting with what happened on that day, what happened leading up to his assassination, and the people that catch my attention are people who are telling verifiable lies.
It's like they're reading from the same cue card. Candace Owens has since made it clear that she would not allow Mikey McCoy to replace Charlie.
To those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me. Okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages, I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now, don't do it. Okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair, okay? over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged.
Then there's Erika's interview on Fox News. When she was asked if authorities caught the shooter, she didn't say yes. She said she trusted our team. She talked about the autopsy, about evidence, and then said something that stuck with people. I want to see what they did to my husband.
We get into the room. One of the law enforcement guys comes in. It's very sweet, but what do you say to someone whose husband just was assassinated so publicly? I said, I've been doing this for 30-some years. He said, I will never tell you that you cannot see your husband. He said, but I, in my professional opinion, think that you should wait to see him once he's at the mortuary. Because I don't think you want to see him like this. The room got quiet because half the room knew it's probably a good idea. And the other half of the room was like, there is no way she's listening to you right now. And I responded back to him and I said, with all due respect, sir, I said, I want to see what they did to my husband.
They, not he, not the shooter. They, who is they? Candace Owens has already gone further, saying straight up that this feels like an inside job. She's pointed at the weird timelines, the reactions that don't make sense. Music, she has even talked about how Erika's movements were being tracked by foreign agents, indicating that she very likely was already under someone's influence.
The person the planes were actually tracking for years was Erika. Not Charlie, but Erika was the one being tracked by these planes between 2022 and September of 2025. Both of those aircrafts, SU-BTT, the yellow plane, and SU-BND, the blue plane, showed 68 overlaps with Erika's documented locations, okay? 68 overlaps. I have since been able to add now 73 times that this overlapped, okay? And 29 of those instances also happened to include Charlie. Charlie was also present. These are all the instances in which this plane, all 68 instances that this plane crossed with Erika. And I'm also going to say this includes overseas as well. So my instant question becomes, why didn't Turning Point acknowledge that this plane was familiar to them? When I was taking all of these figurative online bullets, someone could have easily said something, right? That's kind of a repeat thing in this investigation. Josh Hammer lies, I get attacked, Turning Point just stays silent. They know he's lying, but they allow the lie to flow. Alex Clark lies, I get attacked, I'm telling the truth. Turning Point knows it, but they kind of allow this like Catholic thing, lie to flow. And the influencers are allowed to lie. Nobody at Turning Point ever just steps to clarify that I'm onto something or I'm telling the truth about something. And when it comes to these Egyptian flights, the math on this is indisputable. There is less than a 0.000000001% probability, okay, under random distribution models that these Egyptian planes coincidentally landed around Erika at these times. Like I said, this plane was not just with her in America, it was also tracking her overseas as well. I flagged this because I was alarmed because I thought it was tracking Charlie, and I am telling you that this plane, in addition to Charlie, and primarily actually was tracking Erika.
And if you think Erika lying, her behavior not adding up, her being far too cheerful as a supposed widow in mourning wasn't bad enough, there are now reports that she is allegedly pregnant. 8 weeks pregnant. In fact, if speculation is to be believed, only there's one problem. Charlie Kirk died 10 weeks ago.
Erika Kirk has happily revealed that she is 8 weeks pregnant with Charlie Kirk's child, saying it was him leaving his final gift to the world. The only problem with that is, Charlie Kirk died 10 weeks ago. The widow of Charlie Kirk has announced that she is pregnant with what would have been their third child together, except there's a slight issue. The dates don't quite add up, with even Charlie Kirk superfans saying, the math just ain't mathing on this one. Vice President JD Vance was the first to congratulate the expectant mother on Twitter, saying that the child will be a light in the darkness that will hopefully get to grow up in a quite peaceful America, something that his father never got to experience. I will love and cherish him, because if it isn't him, I would recommend an abortion. as if he were my own son. We are all Charlie Kirk now. We've all been where he has. This weird congratulatory message has led many people to rekindle the rumour that Erica Kirk and JD Vance may have been hooking up after Charlie Kirk's accidental death.
What's really happening behind all this? We can't say for sure, but someone out there knows exactly what happened that day. And the quiet, the forced smiles, music, the strange interviews, the perfectly timed praise, it all feels like something bigger is being held music back. Maybe one day, when someone can't keep the truth bottled up anymore, we'll finally hear what really happened. Not from press releases or reporters, but from someone who was there. Until then, all we can music do is keep asking questions. So, tell me, what do you think is going on here? Do you believe the story we've been given, or are we being lied to? Let us know in the comments.